how are you?
I'm okay, I get to You have 40 seconds yet, people.
Bill's not even here.
Oh, I'm just saying about my look. There he comes. Okay.
What?
No. I said they had
You have
40
plenty of time,
seconds.
no
You had
worries.
plenty of time. I was holding down the crowd, so you're good.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
You have 30 seconds.
I'll count down. We'll all have to wait. All right. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the November 29, 2021 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year, also representing District 2. Joining me this morning is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Aaron Mays, representing District 3. Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome back after a Thanksgiving break. Madam Clerk, our first item.
First item is item 3, a very, very long consent agenda.
We did do the consent agenda a little bit different, and last week or the week before, Mary Thomas came and talked to us about the social service and the elderly allocations, and rather than just list it off one at a time, we did list out every social service agency on the consent agenda, what it's going for, and the amount they are getting. And that was the same for the elderly. And so we do have an exceptionally long consent agenda. I don't know if there are any questions.
No, not for me.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I will move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it does pass 3-0. Before we do move on, I know that there are some agencies that are present, and even though we've approved it, if any of the agencies want to address the commission, I would take a moment if you want to talk about your grant and what you've received.
Well, I wasn't prepared. But I just want to
Come up to the podium, say your name.
See, new to it. I was not prepared to say anything, but I just want to say thank you.
Your name?
Marcus Miller, with First T, Greater Topeka. We are very excited about the possibilities of what we can do within Shawnee County, and we really look forward to affecting all of the youth and making sure that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing as they grow up. So I thank you for being a part of doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. All right, and thank you to all the agencies. Also, Ms. Thomas, thank you for all that you do with CRC and working through the different boards and groups to get the allocations out for everything. So thank you for all the work of you and CRC.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers totaling $1,772,869.40. Surprisingly, there are no items out of the ordinary on there to note, so I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A3, consider approval of resolution number 2021-115, authorizing a 2022 cereal malt beverage license to Shakti Energy LLC, doing business as Fuel Espresso number 51, located at 3603 Northwest 46th Street, Topeka, Kansas. And this has been reviewed by the counselor's office, reviewed by the township, and they found nothing wrong and had a KBI investigation. So we did checked off every place for us, so we're just waiting for approval.
I might note that, again, about 2 weeks ago, this was an item that was on the agenda, but that was for 2021. This is for 2022. So I know it caught my eye. It didn't know if we were doing the same thing twice, but it is for the upcoming year. So I would move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, information technology. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C438-2021 a 3-year subscription renewal with Software House International for Microsoft Exchange Online and Microsoft Office 365 services at a cost of $113,108.40 for each year of the agreement.
Morning, Commissioners. Mark Price, Information Technology. This is just our annual renewal of Microsoft Online. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you, Mark. Our next item.
Item C, Public Works, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C439-2021 with Enterprise Fleet Management for the lease of one Ford F-150 4x4 Super Cab pickup, increasing the master equity lease agreement, which is contract C226-2017, by $501.95 monthly, with funding through the departmental operating budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Yes, we would like to take a pickup that we presently own, used by our compliant officer, and to exchange that for a lease pickup. This pickup is not modified really in any way, so it's perfect for a lease vehicle. The pickup that we're replacing that we presently own, we will not get rid of it. It has approximately 95,000 miles on it. What we'll do is we'll get rid of a pickup that's much older, has much greater mileage, but in a sense, it will be an exchange. There will be no additional equipment added to Public Works.
Questions?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B2, consider approval of change order number 1, final to contract C346-2021 with Bettis Asphalt and Construction, Inc. regarding the South Topeka Boulevard BNSF crossing removal and pavement replacement project. Reflects final as bid versus as construction quantities, resulting in a price decrease of $67,248.83 for a new contract total of $143,202.72.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. This final change order just represents, with one exception, this final change order represents actual as-built quantities versus as-let quantities. No change in unit price. There is one significant addition. During the course of our work, we were required to do some work to the crossovers. They didn't hold up as well as we'd hoped. If you remember, at that time, we had started work. We'd finished, I believe, the southbound lanes, and then it rained for about 2.5 days. Because of the extensive rain, the crossovers didn't hold up, so we had to do some additional work to the crossovers. That was the $20,000 you see down there. But even with that, there's a substantial savings to the project, so we're very pleased, and it turned out very well. So here to, I guess, for your blessing. I don't know if you sign anything, but essentially your blessing on the final change order.
Questions regarding it? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item C3, consider approval of request to fill a vacant office assistant 2 position at an annual salary including benefits of no less than $41,845.59 to be funded out of the department's operating fund.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. We had a wonderful employee that just transferred to the county clerk's office. Thanks, Cindy.
Yes.
And we would like to,
Nice one.
there's a pattern here, Cindy. And we would like to fill the upcoming vacant position and advertise. Thank you.
Any questions? Motion?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Could I get a little dig in here about what the legislature?
You already have.
No, this is what the legislature did to us last year.
This is why you need a gavel.
They wanted me to dig out. What he said, the reason I had to fill this position is in my real estate area. I had a retirement. I was not planning on filling it until the legislature passed Senate Bill 13. And because starting this next year in 23, we're going to have to send out a notice to everyone and I don't have the staff to do it. So he unfortunately had a staff member who's very, very fluid in real estate, and so it was,
Are you trying to make me feel better?
no, no, just letting the commissioners know that when we complain about Senate Bill 13 a lot, it really is costing the taxpayers more money. So.
Bert, I think she was trying to say that you did a very good job
You did a
hiring.
good job. Yeah. Well, and I actually hired her originally in my office, and then she went to there, and then she came back to me.
Okay, I'll remember it.
Sorry, okay. Item B4.
Yes, ma'am.
Consider authorization and execution of contract C440-2021, product price amendment number 4 to sole source contract C251-2014 with Schaefer Manufacturing Company, a revised price list covering the purchase of various oils, fluids, additives, and lubricants with funding from the Public Works Equipment Maintenance Budget.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. This is the second time I've had to come to you this year about a price increase from Schaefer Manufacturing Company. This is extraordinary because for a number of years of this contract, we had no price increases. But as you all know, chemical costs, material costs, raw material costs are going up, and Schaefer is just doing the thing that they need to do to stay in business. I know the question will come up, well, why have you guys considered other sources? Well, I'm guessing that all of the lubricant suppliers in the country are facing the same types of things. And I do want you to know that when this contract with Schaefer started, Shawnee County Public Works went through a number of experiments, maybe some testing, and we were able to determine that the use of this product really helps us cut down on the number of oil changes that we have to do. It's really cut down on the number of turbo failures that we've had, et cetera, et cetera. So we think this product is worth it, it's valuable. We always look for ways to save money by buying in bulk or buying before price increases start. So with that, I take your questions.
Any questions?
No.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item D, Health Department number 1, consider approval to fill a WIC Health Services Team Leader position and any subsequent positions which become vacant from filling this position at a cost of $71,309.73, including benefits to be funded by a WIC grant.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director with the Health Department. As the clerk read, our WIC Services Team Leader has decided to retire. She has over 25 years of experience that will be leaving us. So I am asking to go ahead and advertise for this position. Her last day is not until December 17th, but in the hopes that we might be able to get somebody in to at least even spend a short amount of time with her. Of course, this is our Women, Infants, and Children's program that serves Shawnee County, Osage County, and Wabunsee County. I'd be happy to answer any questions about this position you might have.
And again, this is funded by a grant and not Shawnee County taxpayers.
Correct. This is all through our WIC grant that we receive, in essence through the federal government, but it's passed through the state of Kansas.
Okay. Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
Second. Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item E, Department of Corrections, number 1, consider approval of request to use $10,000 from the Inmate Wellness Fund to assist with reentry services for female offenders in support of a humanitarian grant through the Rotary Foundation, District 5710.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. Yes, I did flash the Bears. They finally won a game, so happy about that. But I'm here before you today to ask for support. That I've been contacted by the Rotary here locally that have wanting to start a successful program here in Shawnee County, which are already doing in the prisons and somewhat, but this is to be able to help those female inmates that are being released, allows them to be able to start the relationship or rapport with those inmates that are before they're released, to be able to get them connected to services, education, housing, medications, you name it. I've met with the Rotary and their committee, and Bill Persinger is also on that that I truly believe that this would be a very worthwhile program. A lot of the programs we do have for releasing, a lot of them do center around male inmates. That's the majority of the population. But this also we feel is a very good specific program that I'm asking to be able to use the money from the inmate wellness account. This is a program that goes to benefit all inmates, especially female inmates, and I believe this would be a tremendous opportunity. This money would go to specifically to be able to put somebody in this program on site at the jail to be able to identify those that are leaving. And again, this I think would be very successful for us to try for a year. And to look at that, and this is a grant. It is only 1 year, so we want to be able to see how this can work, and maybe there'll be future opportunities. But I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Sounds great.
I'll move for approval.
Second?
Before we take a final vote, is there anyone here from the Rotary Foundation that wishes to speak on it? Okay, just double checking.
Yeah.
Motion made and by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item F, County Councilor number 1, consider approval of Home Rule Resolution number 2021-3, amending Home Rule Resolution number 2017-3, adopting the Shawnee County Title VI Plan, first reading.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Krause, Shawnee County Councilor. As a condition of receiving federal funding for our highway programs that passes through the Kansas Department of Transportation, we are required to have a Title VI plan and coordinator. You might ask the question, why don't we just nominate a position for that so that we don't have to change our resolution? Because we are required to name a person. So each time we have a changeover with the person, we do need to renominate a new person, and so that's what this home rule resolution will propose to do. If any complaints come in through that process, then our facilities director would coordinate with our office in the appropriate way to investigate, respond, take corrective action if needed. I'll be happy to answer any questions. It's a home rule with first reading.
And with a home rule as a first reading, then the second reading would be on Thursday where we would consider any action.
Yes.
Any questions?
Jim, since we've been operating, I guess, without anyone in this position, does that cause any trouble at all?
No, because we've had a person in the position that handles the complaints, and the portion of our website and in our policies that notify the public to make a complaint. If a complaint would come in, it would go to the director, who would then follow our process. This is more of a formality, and we typically do not receive complaints.
Good.
Any questions? All right, then. No action on this item. We would take up a second reading on Thursday.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item F2, consider approval of resolution number 2021-116, authorizing the filing of the judicial tax foreclosure sale.
For the record, Jim Krause, Shawnee County Councilor. Again, as you'll note, and thank you to our media partners, we just had an online tax foreclosure auction that was very successful. We were very happy with the participation and the results from that. And now we're ready to file our next case. So this resolution seeks your authorization to file the next case, which will contain approximately 150 properties at filing. We limit it to 150 properties by request of the clerk of the district court. Each filing creates approximately 800 different distinct entities that must receive notice. Could be owners, could be heirs, could be creditors involved with the property. And so just seeking your approval this morning to move forward. We will try to use our contract with our online provider to outsource certain aspects of it to see how that works, with the ultimate goal of accelerating our sales and doing more than one per year, which has been typical over the last 10.
Any questions?
Were there any wrinkles in the first rollout of this?
No, actually, it was new to everyone.
Yeah.
It seemed to go rather smoothly, and all the properties sold. So we were
And
very
how
happy.
many properties were there?
There were 13 properties at the end of the process. We start out with 150 cases, but those owners have the opportunity to redeem up until the date of the sale. So out of the last filing, all properties were redeemed except for 13, and then those were sold and all sold.
Okay. Good.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Jim. Our next item.
Item G, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-442-2021, amendment number 1 to contract C-130-2021 with Topeka Civic Theater and Academy for management of the Helen Hawker Center for Performing Arts for 2022 at a cost of $217,830 with funding from the Park Services operating budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. This is an amendment to the contract that we had last year with Civic Theater. If you recall, we were going through COVID, and it wasn't a full schedule of plays and productions, so we reduced the funding. This year, or for 2022, we're wanting to get that funding back up to where it normally is. I do have Joe Lastly with Topeka Civic Theater. If she'd like to come up and just talk a little bit about this partnership. I'm very pleased with the partnership. I think it's went very well for both parties.
Might note this is the 10th year for this contract.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joe Lastly with Helen Hawker Theater and Topeka Civic Theater. Thank you for this opportunity. We are excited to be able to offer a full season for 2022, not only being able to offer productions for adults and for children and for families, but also to resume summer camps, as well as our 2 large youth programs, the Topeka Youth Players and the Bathhouse Players. We had to lose a lot of that due to COVID, like a lot of businesses do, so we are very thankful to be able to be back. Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do and for the youth and the camps, and I know it's a big part of a lot of young people's arts exposure. So,
Thank you.
any other comments or motion?
I'll move for approval. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item G2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-443-2021 with James W. Parrish to continue the naming rights on the Jim Parrish Field at Bettis Family Sports Complex through December 31, 2034, with $50,000 to the Parks for All Foundation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation again. We are amending the contract, the previous contract, and extending it to 2034. Give you a little history. In 2014, Jim Parrish was kind enough to donate $50,000 for the naming rights to one of our quad fields. He has met that obligation and would like to extend it another 13 years through the next item, basically. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Kimberly Wolf is here with the foundation, if you'd have any questions.
Might just note that it's not an additional 50,000. He's already met that obligation.
Correct.
It's extending the naming rights to 2034.
Correct.
And they were originally set to expire on 2023.
23, yes.
Any questions? Okay. I'll move for approval. Is there a second? Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item G3, consider authorization and execution of contract C-444-2021 with James W. Parrish and the Parks for All Foundation to officially recognize the name change from Pony Field to Parrish Family Field at the Bettis Family Sports Complex through December 31st, 2034, with $100,000 to be deposited into the Parks for All Foundation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby again. This is another naming rights agreement. It's for a different field than what Jim had previously had. This is the Pony Field, as the clerk mentioned, and it will be called the Parish Family Field. It is for the 13 years, which would expire on 2034, and it's for $100,000. And again, I have Kimberly here if you have any questions.
Questions?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. And before we go to the next item,
Yes, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I just want to point out that this is not money coming to the county. This is money going to the foundation.
right, and then the Parks for All Foundation would be able then to use that money to reinvest back into Shawnee County parks.
Correct.
Okay.
Could I ask, Randy, real quick, and maybe Kimberly's a better person, but is this money specified what it has to be used for at all?
Do you know, Kimberly? I thought it was just going straight to the foundation. Yeah, for their operating, or the big operation fund.
Yep, come on up, Kimberly, if you'll come up to the podium, please. We gotta make sure the clerk is able to hear and we can record properly for everyone in present and watching.
I'm sorry, Kimberly Wolf with Shawnee County Parks and Rec. No, it doesn't go directly into our operating. This will go directly into help with any of the foundation, or I'm sorry, with anything within Bettis or any of our other sports complexes. So it's dedicated mostly just for that.
Right, well, we should thank Mr. Parrish for his generosity.
He couldn't be here with us today. We did ask him to join us. So.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you for that, just a mating notation that it is not going to the county general fund. It is part of the Parks for All Foundation, which they are a separate entity and are able to make those gifts to the parks as they deem fit and necessary. Our next item.
Item G4, consider authorization and execution of contract C445-2021 with Power DMS to continue the electronic management of CAPRA documents under county annual membership fees, dues, and subscriptions at a cost of $7,183.97 to be funded through the department's operating budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby again with Parks and Recreation. This is our annual Power DMS subscription that we have to do for the software package. This is instrumental as we are going through our recreditation that will be in 2022. We're currently putting all our documents together through Power DMS. Basically, the National Association uses this. Our review team that comes in for CAPRA will be using this. It's going to save the county and everybody a tremendous amount of work. Be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item G5, consider authorization and execution of contract C446-2021, a two-year partnership with the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library for public access to computers and equipment and services in community centers with cost shared at 50%. 2022, that cost will be $41,249, and in 2023, $42,706, with funding from the Parks and Recreation operating budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby again. Today must be talking about good partnerships, because this is another one of our partnerships that started maybe about 10 years ago,
Yes,
I
it did.
believe. They put in 42, I should say, the library helped sponsored and bought computers for 42 computers, 7 printers for 7 of our community centers. They're greatly used by the public, tremendous benefit to all the areas. And I do have Marie Pico, the CEO, and David King here, if they'd want to come up and just say a few words.
And I might note that 10 years ago, we had a ribbon cutting at Central Park Community Center for the computer lab that opened up there, and now almost all of our community centers have some computer lab with access for the public to be able to use. And so, turning it over to you.
Thank you. Hi, Marie Pico, CEO at the Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. And again, yes, this is a wonderful partnership. It is a way for the library to extend its reach. It's been integral during the pandemic and everything for digital access and digital equity. So many families were doing remote school, remote home, and they had more access, certainly when the library was not as open as other places. So they are increasing in use. Obviously, the last year the number was down a little bit, but they are increasing in use again. And I did hear from David King, we actually did just replace all the computers, so they are all brand new and in all of the facilities, so they should be good for quite some time. So thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. And I know this is a well-used and very much appreciated, again, bridging that digital equity divide.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item G6, consider authorization and execution of contract C441-2021 between Shawnee County Parks and Recreation, Visit Topeka, and the Field Museum of Natural History to allow for the traveling exhibition at Sioux, the T-Rex Experience, to be held at the Greater Overland Station from February 4, 2022 through May 1, 2022.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is my last item, so. I'm really pleased today to call this agreement between Visit Topeka, us, and the Field Museum. I think it's going to be a display that the public is going to truly enjoy. It's putting good use of Overland Station into effect. Again, it runs from February 4th through May 1st. And for the ones that don't understand, T-Rex Experience is the largest, most complete, best preserved T-Rex ever found, and includes the world Sioux lived in as they'd never seen before. I'm excited for this. I have a grandson that's just going to love this. Probably be the first customer, I'm guessing, go through. I do have Sean Dixon here with Visit Topeka if you have any questions. Look forward to the partnership and the agreement.
Well, I know that we have another press release and a public event at 1 o'clock this afternoon, but Mr. Dixon, do you want to come up and offer a couple words?
Sean Dixon, Visit Topeka. We are thrilled to bring this exhibit to Topeka, not only to Topeka, but to put it in the Great Overland Station, which is a space that is extravagant, and we are thrilled to be able to work with Parks and Rec and the county and everyone involved in this. This is actually one of 4 dinosaur-related experiences that we're bringing to the market this spring as part of a larger campaign that we'll be announcing later today, but this is certainly an incredible thing to have for us. So if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
And I understand this is going to be using almost the entire Great Overland Station space.
Absolutely. It is a 5,000 square foot exhibit. We need every square inch of that lower level. We're really transforming that facility to a pop-up natural history museum for this spring. It's going to be very fun.
Okay. And this is kind of our first foray into this, and hopefully it's of things to come.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
No, I'm excited.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Thanks.
Thanks, y'all.
Is there a motion to approve the
I'll
contract?
move to approve. I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Our next item.
Item H, Audit Finance Number 1, update on revenues and expenses as of October 31st, 2021.
Good morning, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here today with your financial overview as of October 31st of this year. We will start out on the revenue side, and our year-to-date revenue through October 31st totals $107,146,118. That is $606,000 over budget, which is 0.54%. So 0.5%, which I would consider right on budget for the county. I'll go through each of the different categories. First category is property tax revenue. We've received $83,454,099. That is $125,000 over budget, which is right on budget. Next category, other tax revenue. We received $15,326,589. That is $472,000 over budget, and that is mostly attributable to motor vehicle revenue. Charges for services, we've received $5,089,984. That is $144,000 under budget, and most of that is from care of prisoner fees at the jail. Other revenue is $3,275,445. That is $152,000 over budget. So our pie chart shows that we've received 78% of our revenue from property taxes. And I'll remind you that we have received most all of our property taxes for the year. 14% from other taxes, 5% from charges for services, and 3% from other revenue.
Now, Betty, before we go on, and just important to note that with 2 months remaining in the year, this number for the property tax would be expected to go down since we have received the majority of our property taxes already.
Well, slightly. We've received majority of our revenue
Right.
for the year. So it may go down slightly, but will not go down significantly.
So it's more, I mean, historically, it's been more in the 76 to 75.
77, yeah,
So-
yeah. So it will go down a little bit in the next 2 months, but we have received majority of our revenue for the year.
Yep. Thank you.
Next are the expenditures. We have had expenditures and encumbrances through October 31st of $93,503,795. That is for all of the expenditures for the county, and that represents under budget of $1,741,710. That is 1.52%, so 1.5% of the total budget. And although we are under budget at this point, there will be significant expenditures in the next 2 months, so we will not stay at that level. We will not end the year with that type of a variance. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when we go through the different categories. The first category is law enforcement. And we have spent $44,862,479. That is $1,476,000 under budget, but it's also $3,612,000 over what we spent the prior year. So we continue to spend more on law enforcement than any of the other categories. And within that, the two departments that have most of that variance are the DOC, or the jail, and then the Sheriff's Department. And the DOC, I know we have some large medical bills that are coming from inmates that will take up some of that variance. And they also have year-end items, especially medical items. There's a lag time in medical expenses that come in, so we always have significant year-end expenses for the jail. Then the sheriff's office is also the other one. They also make significant purchases at year-end, so that's why I say we will not end the year with this type of a variance. Next category is recreation. We spent $13,897,091. That is $116,000 over budget, but in looking in that, it's mostly just timing. In some cases, we have had contracts this year where we have made that obligation earlier in the year rather than paying it out throughout the year. So it is over budget, but it's primarily just with timing. We do not anticipate, we will not end the year over budget. The next category is public works, and I will mention that this is just what was spent out of the general fund for public works. We spent $7,715,424, and that is right on budget. Public health, we spent $8,015,266,000, and that is right on budget. Administrative services, we spent $10,811,172. That is $364,000 under budget, and two specific areas that are under budget. The general expenses are under budget $146,000. That is just the general expenses, including utilities and all of those type things for the county. That has come in lower than budgeted this year. And then the other area is IT, and that is just a timing issue with them. They have not made their purchases for their tech refresh, and that will be made between now and the end of the year. Then the last category is debt service. We've spent $8,202,363, which is right on budget. This first graph just does a really good job, I think, of showing the different expenses in the different categories. And then this is our pie chart that shows 48%, so almost half of all of our expenditures are for law enforcement. Recreation is 15%, public works 8%, public health 9%, administrative services 11%, and debt service is 9%. All of the debt service has been paid for the year, so as the other expenses increase, that percentage will go down a little bit. I'll also mention, as I usually try to remind you, that we have received most of our revenue for the year. So the fact that we have $107 million in revenue and $93 in expenditures is not something that we anticipate we will end up with a big balance at the end of the year. It's because we have 2 more months of expenditures to go, and we have received most all of our revenue. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item 5, administrative communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to address the commission on any item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. Just want to remind everyone the celebration of lights at our Lake Shawnee campground through TARC has started. They had their first night, I believe, Wednesday of last week, and they go through the first of the year. So I hope everybody gets a chance to go out there for that family tradition. Also, Saturday, December 4th from 9 to 3 is the Holiday Craft Show at our Crestview Community Center. Hope everybody has a chance to come out on Saturday and enjoy the crafts.
How many lights do you suppose are out there, Randy, at Winter Wonderland?
Well, I was quoted 22 years ago at over 1 million, but my director at that time told me I exaggerated, and I started counting, and it takes a lot of lights to get to 1 million. But there are a lot of lights.
It's very beautiful, and it's for a good cause. So.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other department heads, members of the public wanting to address the commission on any item? Commissioner Mays.
Nothing from me.
Commissioner Rippon.
Had a good Thanksgiving.
Yes, it was a good Thanksgiving. It was a nice weather. Hopefully everybody was able to get out and get some fresh air. Might note that today looks like a good day, so try to take advantage of it while we have it. We do have a press conference this morning or this afternoon at 1 o'clock at Great Overland Station, and look forward to that announcement and things to come for the community. Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session. This is for personnel matters of non-elected personnel, matters relating to the employee or employee negotiations, whether or not in consultation with a representative or representatives of the body or agency, and consultation with the attorney for the body or agency, which we deem privileged, in the attorney-client relationship. And this is regarding the implementation of the Evergreen Compensation Study. It will be for a period of not to exceed 1 hour, starting at 10 o'clock. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Note that we are Approved 3-0, going into executive session at 10 o'clock for 1 hour. We are adjourned to come back. No action is taken, but we will be back at 11 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah. After 2 extensions, we are back from executive session. No action was taken. We are adjourned.